Eric Adams, the mayor of New York City, indicted on federal charges.
Also a political enemy.
Yes. And, well, I mean, we were told by Bret Stephens and other very intelligent people in the New York Times that he was the future of the Democratic Party.
Nate Silver.
Yes, because there was this false notion that Black Lives Matter or defund the police was more than some activist slogan, that it actually had a toehold in the Democratic Party, which it didn't. I mean, outside of a few squad members and some progressive members in blue states and state houses across the country, defund the police was never incorporated into the Democratic Party's platform.
It was briefly accepted for campaign reasons, and it helped Democrats in 2020.
It did. And then Biden went on the State of the Union and screamed, I want to fund the police more. And
the status quo people got their wish, and we're all living in it.
But like there was this fiction that there needed to be a new kind of Democrat that would embrace funding the police. And Eric Adams was representative
as if that
of
was
this.
Be new, but yeah.
Right. It was ridiculous. But he's acting like a true crooked cop here. He has now been charged with acting as an unregistered foreign agent, for taking actions in his official capacity as mayor, receiving donations from foreign sources. It's basically that he took bribes, allegedly, and illegal campaign contributions related to his mayoral campaign in exchange for doing some good, some favors for the government of Turkey. Let's go to the indictment here. This is the part where you get the quid pro quo, because his connections to the Turkish government had been established for a few years and had been growing in its weirdness. But the question was like, what was Turkey getting in exchange for their patronage of Eric Adams? And the indictment says this. In September 2021, the Turkish official told Eric Adams, the defendant, that it was his turn to repay the Turkish official by pressuring the New York City Fire Department to facilitate the opening of a new Turkish consular building, a 36-story skyscraper without a fire inspection, in time for a high-profile visit by Turkey's president. At the time, the building would have failed an FDNY inspection. In exchange for free travel and other travel-related bribes in 2021 and 2022 arranged by Turkish officials, Adams did as instructed. Because of Adams's pressure on the FDNY official responsible for the FDNY's assessment of the skyscraper fire safety was told that he would lose his job if he failed to acquiesce. And after Adams intervened, the skyscraper opened as requested by the Turkish official. Now, this is an image of the skyscraper here. Very glitzy. I mean, is that the Chrysler building in the background?
It is. I've seen this building.
This is prime real estate in Midtown Manhattan.
I think it's close to the UN.
Law and order, skipping over fire codes to pay back the guys that paid for your tickets to all over the world. Let's pull up this part of the indictment here. This is what was alleged. No, the other part. We'll read that in a second. The part about his flights.
While he's finding this, I just want to just point out, like, this idea that these buildings go up. There's another building that's sort of like a leaning tower of like West Manhattan or whatever.
Right.
We should be able to be proud of this skyline and not look at it as evidence of corruption written into the goddamn heavens. Be nice. But anyway, yeah, we found this piece here.
This is in reference to the flight. So the central claim is that basically he received in campaign contributions and then over $124,000 in flight and travel benefits. This is an excerpt on the flight benefits. Because the Turkish airline provided free travel benefits worth tens of thousands of dollars to Eric Adams, the defendant, he flew the Turkish airline even when doing so was otherwise inconvenient. For example, during the July and August 2017 trip, Adams' partner was surprised to learn that Adams was in Turkey when she had understood him to be flying from New York to France. Adams responded in a text message, transferring here, you know, first stop is always Istanbul. Oh yeah, that's what people say.
It's the world crossroads.
When Adams is it's like, everyone is called, how Eric Adams says that New York City, there's that supercut of New York City, X city is the New York City of X country. Yeah, right. Istanbul is the Atlanta of the world, where everyone's flights transfer,
It's
apparently.
just a constant aerial thoroughfare.
Many people are saying this. When Adams' partner later inquired about planning a trip to Easter Island, Chile, Adams responded, or repeatedly asked her whether the Turkish airline could be used for their flights, requiring her to call the Turkish airline to confirm that they did not have routes between New York and Chile. So he's desperately trying to get this Turkish airline to fly him all over the world for free.
I don't want to get bogged down in geography. Turkish Airlines, I'll just say it doesn't surprise me necessarily that Turkish Airlines would have like direct flights between, like, say, Istanbul and New York, but not that and Easter Island, Chile.
Yeah. Yeah. Just off the top of your head, that does make sense. This other part of the indictment was quite amusing. So the FBI is starting to pick up on this. They seized his devices last year. Apparently separated Adams from his mayoral security detail to do so. So they've known this is really serious for around a year. On November 6, 2023, FBI agents executed a search warrant for the electronic devices used by Eric Adams, the defendant. Although Adams was carrying several electronic devices, including 2 cell phones, he was not carrying his personal cell phone, which is the device he used to communicate about the conduct described in the indictment. When Adams produced his personal cell phone the next day in response to a subpoena, it was locked, such that the device required a password to open. Adams claimed that after he learned about the investigation into his conduct, he changed the password on November 5th, 2023, there's a typo here, and increased the complexity of his password from 4 digits to 6. Adams had done this, he claimed, to prevent members of his staff from inadvertently or intentionally deleting the contents of his phone because, according to Adams, he wished to preserve the contents of his phone due to the investigation. But Adams further clarified he had forgotten the password he had just set and thus was unable to provide the FBI with a password that would unlock the phone. The thing about Eric Adams is he's actually extremely dumb. Dude, got people that steal your phone on the street.
Yeah.
Can find a way to jailbreak your phone with the password. You think the FBI is not going to be able to get in once you change the passcode from 4 digits to 6?
It is not exactly exculpatory to say my staff, after hearing this, would be take it upon themselves to go into their phone and start destroying evidence. What kind of office are you running if that's the sort of impulse that they're going to draw, even assuming you're innocent, which, I mean, I don't know, is the assumption I make.
It's so shoddy. He had scandals before he became mayor in terms of, like, where do you actually live, buddy? You're saying that you live in this area of Brooklyn, but you are clearly living in New Jersey. Sketchy tax claims related to his residence. But let's hear him out. Today he responded, was out in an outdoor press conference in New York City as a very unpopular politician responding to these charges. And let's see how this goes for him.
New York saying that this is not a black day. This is not a black day. This is a youth day. This is a youth day, Eric Adams. This is not a black day. Your policies are anti-black. You are a disgrace to all black people in this city. The things that you have done are unconscionable.
Maybe the outdoor press conference was a bad mistake.
Maybe.
Our children are harassed by the police. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. You can shush me all you want, but the people are with us. And this is not a black day. This is a justice day.
First of all, I want to thank you for being here this morning, and I want to thank the supporters of all ethnic groups.
He's so weird.
Especially the Turkish.
Okay. It is rare to have a politician be this weird and also be like his political career to end in such a humorous way. Like this dude, he's often compared to Trump, and I guess it's a little reductive. They're both from New York, and they're both pro-cop. They're both kind of idiots that say bizarre things all the time.
Slimy charisma.
Yeah, but he does have that quality of like, he is going to say whatever he needs to say in every single interaction to win the interaction. And what he says in one conversation is not really connected to what he says in the next conversation. Like, he ran both as a reformer, because when he was a cop, there was a period where he was criticizing some of the racism of the NYPD, but then he was also running as an anti-Black Lives Matter, anti-defund the police guy, was trying to reverse some of the reforms that Mayor de Blasio tried to put into place to little effect. And, you know, de Blasio, in hindsight, he was thwarted in some ways. He wasn't as strong as we wish, but like, the NYPD was doxing his daughter, for example.
Be quite strong. And hopefully we get one of those mayors sometime soon.
Right. Adams ran in the exact opposite direction. He basically just appeared as all things to all people. I'm both a reformer and I'm also going to be extremely pro-cop. And guess which direction he sprinted towards when he got into power? He was the pro-cop, pro-corruption guy. I mean, he has done extremely little in this city by ways of governance. That's where his connection to Trump also, you can see those parallels. He doesn't care about governing at all. What he cares about are doing press conferences, doing swanky events, going out and demonstrating what trash cans can be used. He loves a press conference, fighting rats in the city. I'm sorry, dude. The rats won. The rats won in this instance. But like, just to wrap up this story here so people remember how weird this guy was, this is my favorite clip of Eric Adams. This is him giving instructions to parents about what they can do if they think their kid may be using drugs or in a gang.
What I would like to show here is to empower parents on how to search a room inside their home. It's imperative that you should know what's inside your household. And no one can state that you can't search a room in your own home. You write the Constitution. There are no First Amendment rights inside your household. It is your obligation and responsibility not only to protect the child that may be using an illegal drug or carrying an illegal gun, but you also have to protect the members of the household, their younger brothers and younger sisters, and the other.
Let's skip to when he's actually going through the.
This is his tour of this definitely real child's bedroom and what you could find if you want.
And some COs are going to have to do this to Eric Adams' cell.
It's a recreation of, apparently the FBI was or the feds were searching his residence this morning, so he got a little taste of this morning.
Box of this nature, maybe a simple jewelry box, but if you look through it closely, you don't know what your child may be hiding. For instance, a gun could be hidden, a small caliber weapon could be hidden inside a jewelry box. Look at the various colognes and perfumes and photos and pictures. You should always, when your child brings in his popular knapsack with many different locations, look through it to see what exactly is your child carrying in addition to a book.
Okay, I think that's good.
No, not good.
Use crack pipe. Could have found it on the street.
Keep going.
It's quite possible. But this is a discussion piece where you should start speaking with him to find out what is he doing with it. Yeah. And the whole
good parenting advice there.
This invokes conversation.
Find a crack pipe.
Look at picture frames and behind them, cameras. Try to determine what's taking place. Behind a picture frame, you can find bullets. What does that mean to find bullets?
Loose bullets.
Does it mean your child is carrying a gun? No. Where there's smoke, there's possible fire. Where there's a bullet, there's possibly a gun. You should engage in the conversation and find out what are they doing with the item, and this empowers the parents.
Okay.
Look at all the items.
Yeah. There's other parts where I think didn't realize we were doing the full thing, but he finds a gun in a pillow. He uses the word secrete inaccurately. Popular knapsack with many different locations. Just a weirdo.
I mean, the Olayemi exchange on Breakfast Club is pretty indicative of his whole thing, which is like, she's like, hey, you have been hysterically inflating the threat of crime in a way that's actually kind of affecting tourism. And he's like, actually, no, I haven't. But, you know, crime is a huge problem and you people underplay it. And actually, that's the big problem, is how you don't help join me in inflating crime.
Right.
it turns out he's a criminal. Interesting.
A little bit. Turns out that a lot of that
allegedly.
Right. Thank you for the legal protections. A lot of this stuff is a projection. Little lesson for you.
Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.